boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, y'all. I'm back with the, what's it called? I think I do the earth and then I just fire tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do that though. We will do that though. Alright, we're gonna do the earth signs first. Trying to see which one necessarily do I need to choose. I didn't pick necessarily. Which one? Wait a minute. Damn. I guess we'll go with ain't damn one popped out. Shit. Let's see which one popped out. Let's see which one popped out. You got hair funk that came out. Ugh. Not saying that for y'all though necessarily. I guess we'll do Taurus first. I don't know what the hell y'all had going on last month. That shit was like, what the fuck? You get what I'm saying? Like that shit was like, what the fuck? Like that's all I can say. It was just like, it was just a lot. That's all I got to say. Well, not in the beginning of the month, last month. I was like, whoa, what happened? Necessary, like it was a lot. But it don't feel heavy though. It felt like Confucius. So that's what we'll start with y'all. Alright, let me get one more shuffle out and then we good to go. Ooh. One more. Possible. Show that. Alright, okay, bam. I'm ready. This ain't videos. Ain't gonna be long. This is gonna be the mid-monthlies. Alright. Bottom of the day, you got y'all energy, Taurian energy. It kept coming out and this over there on that day too. So I was like, I guess so. That's why I was like, I said I was gonna do earth signs first. Cause I always do y'all last. Or whatever the case may be. I always do. Cause I know y'all have some shit that necessarily I know y'all necessarily have some shit that be going on. So it has some shit like going on. Ooh. Yes. Y'all do. But this ain't this don't get me like that bad though. Y'all usually be having like some shit going on. It be like, God dang. Overall mood is gonna be the 4 wands. That's why I said some of y'all be having some shit going on. It be like, God damn. Alright, you got Ace of Swords. So there could be business, communication necessarily, a newness coming in, and the Page of Cups behind that though. Could be honesty though. Because you have 7 of Swords here. I don't know if you like trying to give this necessarily to a person or seek this from this type of individual. Wait a minute. Put that back there for y'all. Alright, okay. Shit, what I dropped? Man. Okay. Because you got 7 of Swords and you have the, wait a minute. Let me see. I need to take this off. I don't want to open up my other light. Okay, well, just focus though. You got 7 of Swords, Page of Cups, and the Ace of Swords though. It's kind of like some newness, communication coming in. It could be like sneaking around what needs to be said, like a topic. You know how like necessarily sometimes when certain things that need to be said, and it's kind of like I don't know if I should say it or not. It's kind of like giving me that type of energy though. It's kind of like this though, because you do have the 6 of Cups up under here. Why do I keep pulling? I necessarily don't know. You got the 6 of Cups though necessarily, so we're gonna see what that is about if it decides to come out. On the bottom of the deck, you do got the Hermit, the 4 Swords, and you have, girl, I kind of just want to turn this junk like that, but that junk just a little too, what you call, I'm gonna give me a what you call, I keep telling y'all that. I took my braids out, so bear with me. And I got some on my shoulder. You got Hermit, 4 Swords, and the Devil being reversed. That's why I said it's kind of like somebody necessarily, if it's kind of giving me like the olive branch type energy necessarily though, that somebody may have been giving you, because you do got the Ace of Wands, you got the 4 Swords. Let me focus though, because it's too much going on. Though I say y'all always have like too much necessarily going on. I think it was a reason why I had looked towards here. I kind of want to take the Seven of Swords necessarily. I don't necessarily do that though, but I want to see what it's about though, because that's what my mind drawing me to though. Because that's why I say you got communication and honesty. It could be about the heart though necessarily, because you hear me say earth signs necessarily can be somewhat apathetic. So dealing with them and their emotions is kind of like hard. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get them to a space of honesty. Like sometimes it necessarily is. You do got the Hermit reverse, the Four of Swords, and the Capricorn type energy. It's kind of like somebody is taking time to self-reflect or isolating. It's like with the Four of Wands, it's kind of like somebody is not participating with somebody else. Somebody's like, no. Like, I don't wanna. Like, that's what it kind of gives me, though. That is, though. It's like, independently, though. Like, no. I think I'm gonna sit this one out. That's the energy it kind of gives me, though. Because you got Eight of Cups versus the Two of Swords. So that's why I said going back to this energy, taking time to introspect. I mean, to be introspective of oneself. But like I said, that Page of Cups energy, though, like you hear me say with y'all being Tauruses or earth signs necessarily, sometimes it's kind of be hard for y'all to take emotional recognition. Because you got the Two of Swords, so it's kind of like sitting there. Is it a grudge? Is it not a grudge? Or do I feel like this? Should I budge? Should I move? Like, it's this type of energy necessarily, though. That's why I said trying to, it just gives me like you want to say state your case. So I don't know if it's you with another person or sitting in a situation or somebody that's coming or talking to you necessarily, because the Six of Cups was up under there. So it give me like this energy of somebody saying, state your case. State your case. Like, that's what it does give me, though. Anywho, you got Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Chariot, and you also got the Five of Cups being here as well. That's why I said it gives me, though, like something was lost. Maybe a connection with a person, where with the Seven of Pentacles, it could be a connection with somebody or someone over time. I did get that, though. Was that in y'all love reading? I think that was in y'all love reading, where I said it seems like where some of y'all were dating, or you had to break up with somebody and it ended in a tumultuous type state to where you had to just say, okay, I'm done. For the singles, necessarily the ones that was being single, and I said it was trying to prepare them for this Empress type position, or just honing back into this, because it was kind of like somebody was in a relationship that they shouldn't have been in a relationship with. I ain't gonna say this person was not compatible. I can't tell you who not to date, but it seemed like it was a bunch of losses behind this, though. It really was, though, because you had the Seven of Pentacles, though, so that's why I said somebody is in a space of where you're focusing on you, because it's crazy, though, because on the board, y'all, can I show y'all? No, I can't even flip the camera. Can I show you though? Wait. Can you see? Wait a minute. There. I don't know if you can see it. But over there on the board, you necessarily can't see it though. I wrote about reputation versus reputation versus repetition. Like doing the same thing over and over and over again. What you hear necessarily. What do you do and what do you know? So I had wrote that on the board necessary. When I was asleep, I got up. I was like, I'm going to do it, but I didn't get to it. Okay, anywho, but I had wrote that necessary before y'all read it. Don't know if that makes sense. Y'all may be a little long. I kind of want to start this over again. I really do. I don't know. So just go with it. You got Ace of Wands. You got the Lovers in the Tower. That's why I said you got Lovers in the Tower, and you got the Emperor, though. That's why I said it's kind of like it's this Empress and this energy type energy. I don't know if for some of y'all it's a relationship, it is connection, it is the balancing of the feminine and masculine energy coming into two suits, trying to ascend. Like you hear me say, sometimes the Tower type moment, there could be things that goes on in the mind. Sometimes it suggests to me like the crown type chakra, like it's throwing out necessarily what do you know, how do you commute, how do you connect with lovers, how do you receive it, what is it, how you give it, necessarily moving towards that, because you do got the Emperor here as well. So that's why I said it does give me that. Going over here to the other side, you got Queen of Pentacles, though, reversed. You got the Star. Ooh, my leg itching. And you got the Three of Swords. And you also have the World. I don't like that. I don't like that part. I don't know if this was kind of like a necessarily a part of you where you were so focused on financial type things that necessarily it's like somebody doing their own thing. It was telling somebody to state their case. Queen of Pentacles reverse necessarily. That could be an old type ways. Like somebody just recognizing that it doesn't work for them, especially with the World being reversed. Like somebody over time recognize that it slowed them down. Someone, something, some personality trait necessarily. I don't know if it was connecting with a person or the idea, the idealistic of a person, like you get what I'm saying, oh, like their romanticism, like we think people like that God like energy where we assume people to be true to their word. Like that's what it kind of gets me though. So I think that's necessarily what that is. All right, okay, let's go. Let's go. I want to know what this 7 of Swords is about. I really do. Seven of Wands. Okay, yes, yes, yes. All right, for the 7 of Wands energy, you got 6 of Pentacles. You got 7 of Wands. I mean, for the 7 of Pentacles, you got 7 of Wands, 6 of Pentacles, King of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if one of y'all tongue-tied, though, like, necessarily when you tell somebody to state your case, if it's like the energy of a person that you know necessarily that is sneaky or has done something wrong to somebody necessarily, or you have done it, so it's kind of like, I don't know what I should say, because you have the 6 of Pentacles and the King of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles. That's what I said. Some of y'all still trying to wrap this up with this relationship with a lover's triangle. Like I did get that though. Or necessarily finding out that it was some sort of infidelity or choosing the right partner necessarily for you. For some of y'all, it was like learning the behaviors of yourself necessarily and like seeing how it's been sowing certain seeds and putting you in a bad position. Because you do have the 7 of Wands. So it's like this energy of closing out some sort of connection with a person or being necessarily. I don't know. Because the 6 of Pentacles does speaks of somebody who doesn't know how to give and receive, or somebody who kind of take advantage of other people. So it could be people, the nouns, money, financial type situations to balance. Like it's somebody where things has to go their way. For 2 of Pentacles, to me, sometimes when I see that, I think of micromanaging. So a person who likes to micromanage. Some of y'all could be in a authoritative type position where you're starting to recognize how you commute with your workers. Because you got the Knight of Swords, you got the Knight of Wands as well. So some of y'all learning how to commute with your workers or just implicate some sort of boundaries. Ooh. Knight of Swords reverse. Ooh. I think this was his Queen of Pentacles energy. It kind of giving me y'all, for some of y'all, it's an outside party. It could be a mom, a parent, a sister, a couple, cousin, somebody else. But it's this type of ways. Necessarily, though, like, who was that? Like, was it over here? I don't know. It was on, I think I did on another platform where I was like, somebody going to experience a blowout with somebody. And I was like, they feel like they have to say the last word. And I think somebody who always feel like they have to have the last word, that's what puts them in a state of regret, because they taking on that energy concept. Like somebody feels like they have to say and they have to apply action behind it, and it still puts them in a position. That's why I say the Queen of Pentacles kind of giving me y'all energy. It could be a person that you were dealing with necessarily, or a personality trait. God damn, there was a lot of cards that fell out. Wait a minute, let's see. Because you got 8 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Swords, 6 of Wands. So it's kind of like being stuck in some sort of position. 9 of Pentacles goes back to the greed, the materialistic, overwork, independent, not playing well with team members. It's kind of like to keep up this quote unquote facade. So some of y'all may have been working jobs and necessarily feel like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I feel shitless, or whatever the case may be, and then trying to put on the game face. That's why I think somebody's telling somebody to state your case. I don't know if it's a person that's coming to you. I don't know if it's a person coming to you or dealing with a sort of connection, or you trying to build, trying to find love, but it's kind of like state your case. Like that's the energy it does give me, because you do got 2 of Cups, Hierophant, Page of Wands, and the King of Pentacles being reversed. Some of y'all necessarily, this got to do with y'all when y'all picking partners and relationships necessarily. Some of y'all are more attracted to certain people that you can't have. This is like some sort of routine for some of y'all with the Page of Wands and the King of Pentacles necessarily. Some of y'all, it could be commitment issues, or moving too fast, or necessarily moving too slow. It could be the way you give, or financial type love languages, because the Taurian sign for necessarily, like in Venus, they kind of like to shower people with certain things. So it could be like problematic ways necessarily with financial type situations, or the assuming necessarily of this, because this King of Pentacles, he can be kind of like a jug, a finesser, a hustler type mentality, especially with the Knight of Swords. So it could be that though, like necessarily learning what you're attracted to. Somebody who's like risque. We all like a little fun though, necessarily though. But for me, going back to this this Empress and this Emperor, I think it's just necessarily balancing out like the energy though, because if you are in a relationship, it's kind of like you and your partner, y'all mirror each other. Queen of Pentacles, she's focused on the money. King of Pentacles, he's focused on the money. You don't want to be there, they don't want to be there. So it's kind of like, what are we doing? Like you hear me say, like somebody's asking, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And it's kind of like, I don't know. And it's like you find yourself stuck in the situation and then no longer wanting to participate. That's what it is, though. It's like, what are we doing? Like, She's like, what are we doing? And you like, shit, I don't know. He's like, so what are we? And you like, I don't know. Like, it's like that type of energy. Like, somebody telling somebody that. Yeah, you got the justice upright. Go I say you got justice though. Balance. Some of y'all need to find a healthy balance between work and life coming up in this month though. You got Ace of Pentacles though. That's why I said yeah. If it's like a relationship dynamic, necessarily going back to that, some of y'all gotta find out what soothes you between work and financial type matters. This came up in a Cancer and type reading or whatever. Like, it kind of gave me the feel that when they get in relationships, they kind of get sidetracked by a person, and they kind of like necessarily like that's kind of like dating down. So they say, for instance, if you were like two millionaires or two assets in a relationship and y'all don't know how to balance the relationship necessarily, it's like you so focused and driven on money. It's kind of like, what are you actually bringing to the relationship? Like, somebody has to give and somebody has to take, and the roles has to be reversed. It was coming up necessarily like that though. So it's kind of like one of y'all possibly may have to learn it. Or you, when you hear me say it, coming to partners, because you do got the two of wands and the nine of cups. So that's why I said some of y'all wrapping it up or moving on. Because I said that it was kind of like one of y'all was in a relationship and it was like act. Because the Ace of Pentacles kept coming up like y'all were trying to manifest some sort of a relationship, and then it was kind of like that didn't work, so you end up getting in it, so it had to hurt you a certain way for you to get out of that, because what you wanted was necessarily on the way. For some of y'all that's in a relationship, it is a third party that is necessarily, I would say, that is keeping up a sense of chaos, because you got the moon. So it's kind of like illusion. Somebody's very evasive. They bring worry. They bring stress. It's certain things that you can't see. So it's kind of like if you were outsourcing to a person, like the Queen of Pentacles is reversed. It's not somebody I would talk to about my secrets. I wouldn't share nothing with her necessarily. I wouldn't, because like they could abuse that sense of information like they would. So I don't know if that's you, something you had to work on necessarily, or a person you were dealing with. So that's what it kind of gives me though. Like, I wouldn't tell them shit. I wouldn't trust them. Because I wouldn't. I tell you, when I see that card, sometimes it give me a little narky lately. And I don't even usually say that though. But that's why I said it is though. Necessary. I wouldn't. You got Six of Swords though. Some of y'all, I said Four of Wands though. Y'all moving, separating. Some of y'all separating or moving necessarily though, trying to find a new home or the work for or the space. That's what it is kind of giving me though. But for necessarily y'all, some of y'all, if it's like friendships, connections with certain people, especially with the Six of Wands, somebody's more caught up into the fame, the egotistical aspect, to where they kind of like leave somebody necessarily behind, or they necessarily don't feel like they're connected with a person, because the Two of Cups is kind of like, oh, well, they forgot about me, this is this, da 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 da. They're so focused. It's kind of like somebody in that energy. Like, because the Queen of Pentacles is so working in the energy of focusing on financial type matters, to building, trying to create something that's longevity, to where like when it comes to connecting in certain friendships, you necessarily don't. Damn, I'm gonna have to move this junk so I can get the light that I need. You got the Devil though. Devil reverse. Four of Cups. I think for some of y'all necessary, it goes back to the relationship dynamic, or connecting with certain people or friends or people, or just love. Like for some of y'all that's just focused on love. I think some of y'all has been so focused on the financial type matters when it comes to love necessarily. And I ain't gonna say financial, because it be the environmental factors. That could be work. There could be kids. There could be anything necessary that assumes your sort of time. I think for some of y'all sit back and y'all think about, damn, this independent shit necessarily don't work for me. And I ain't talking about independent to where you have to give up a house, a car. It's just that how a lot of people are so consumed with the earthly type realm that it's hard for people to connect to them, because it's kind of like, what can I give you if you so full of self? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, those people who are lovers of self, and I ain't talking about like you love you because you need to. I'm talking about so consumed with themselves that it's necessarily folly. Like, nobody has a say-so in those type of connections, though. Because you got Ten of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Sun, though. That's why I said Ten of Wands reversed, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Sun. That's why I said independently. I think somebody knows necessarily that they're working too much, necessarily need a break, or is in the commitment style of working with friends, or necessarily going back to this King of Pentacles. That's like finding something surety, because you do have the Emperor and Empress energy here. So if it's something that you want over a long time, if it is a commitment, if it is a a building or something just long lasting, like I keep saying, you have the assets to use, you're just not tapping into them. So the Sun necessarily gets mad when it's kind of like, oh, well, this is not working, they'll give up on it, and then they'll walk off and go to something else, and then they'll be all over the place. You have Seven of Cups as well. Oh shit. Back to the Two of Swords though. How the hell we get back here though? This that crazy stuff y'all do as Tauruses though, because you got Seven of Cups reverse and the Two of Swords. Like, y'all will get the truth and understand it, and they'll sit there and be like, so what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You got Three of Wands too. You are hear the truth necessary. This is the Three of Wands, like returning back. Some of y'all doing this with like jobs, careers, necessarily relationships. I said that it's very folly. The Fool being reversed, that speaks of folly, like folly type nature, about making abrupt endings with the Tower, like abrupt type things, like, okay, all right, like the storm out type of energy. And it's kind of like, wait, just chill. It's not even that. With the Page of Cups though, necessarily. So that's what it kind of does give me though, necessarily. I will say that though. But it's kind of like somebody fluctuating between all over the place. Whew. You got the Hermit reverse. But for me, necessarily, it looks like somebody closing something out. And like I said, for the past 3 months that's been in y'all reading, because it ain't ever been that rough for me reading with y'all. It's kind of like somebody has made a commitment to something that does not serve them. Or others as well, because the Four of Wands is reversed. And you hear me say this Seven of Swords. So there could be somebody who, in a space of working against the grain. Sneaking around, like somebody who's just sneaking around, like it doesn't give me trustworthy. I tell you, the Queen of Pentacles, she doesn't give me like trustworthy type energy. You got Five of Swords and the Judgment. Some of y'all may be at this standstill, this stalemate, this stagnant type energy, where like this truth necessarily honoring, like you hear me say, when it comes to judgment, clouded judgment. Because I'm telling you, earth signs, y'all can give great advice, in the most cases unwarranted, but do you take your own? Like, that's the catch. Sometimes earth signs do find themselves in a position to where like they're necessarily crossed by water signs. This is why earth is always crossed by water, necessarily, because they go together. They do. Like, they go together. Like, the earth can destroy the earth, but the water also can destroy the earth as well, like a tag team duo, to like get up under the surface necessarily. But it's all about, does the earth want to budge? Like, that's that type of energy though. But that's why I say this here though. Some of y'all will give great advice, but will not take your own. Like, I'm telling you, that's it. Earth signs, I know. Y'all give great advice, and sometimes y'all get in positions to where y'all don't take it yourself. You got High Priestess. Going back to that, though. Alright, let's get one more card. And then we'll get y'all some moonology. King of Wands and the Page of Cups. I kind of like that though. That's somebody who's ready to do something about it. But okay, we got on the bottom of the deck. Ooh. Going back to here, you got Eight of Cups, the Four of Pentacles reverse, and the Knight of Pentacles. I told you the Knight comes to bring you some sort of lesson. It could be like that slow type nature of learning. This is kind of like the ideal style of, could be spirituality or doing something different. But with the Eight of Cups being reversed and the Four of Pentacles, it's kind of like somebody's not taking accountability. Like somebody's just taking half. No matter how toxic a situation was, no matter necessarily, it's kind of like if you was in some group type setting necessarily, and you had like some group project and somebody didn't do their part, you know what needed to be done. So it's kind of like, if you didn't fulfill on the deal, it's kind of like you can't get mad or somebody say, no, well, you were supposed to. If somebody's like sitting there chewing you out, if it's like a boss or a teacher necessarily, like you had some college type project and you kind of like, well, why I got to take all this? Because it's like you were a part of this. And then it's kind of like somebody's like, but no, this person is like, no. Because you got Ace of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. Like this necessarily in this energy though. So some of y'all in a relationship, some of y'all sometimes forget and slip about a partner necessarily. It's kind of like, well, you do it. I don't care. I'm unhappy. You're unhappy. I don't care. Like, it's kind of like this type of energy where somebody's like, I don't care. You're unhappy. I'm unhappy. Fuck off. Like, it's like that type of energy where y'all telling each other this shit. All right, so let's get y'all some Moonology cards. Let's get y'all some Moonology cards. Get you some Moonology cards. Get y'all some Moonology cards. Let's go. Your dreams need a practical plan for some of y'all that's out here trying to do all these odd end jobs. Hustle real hard. I don't know why they're popping back. It might be some of y'all though. I said that hustler mentality real cool, but I told you I'm hustled out. It's to the point to where I rather utilize that hustle to get a business, because that hustle mentality do not serve you when you ain't getting the shit that you want. You be mad as hell. You be around this bitch mad. You be like, damn, this shit not working. Everywhere. Doing every goddamn thing. Alright, okay. You got confidence is your key to success. This is the new moon in Leo, and we are in Leo energy in this month. The answers you need are coming. This is the full moon in Gemini. This is getting below the surface. Geminis love to talk. I tell you, Gemini season, I was like, to my me, bitch, shut up. Full moon in Leo, don't let your pride get in the way. That's the egotistical type space of that energy of I got it. I don't care what you hear me say. Sometimes y'all will know, but you still don't follow your own intuition. Rolling out of Cancer season into Leo, it's like a personal issue reaches a solution. This is about family, the mothering, the maternal type energy that a lot of us are being affected by. Last card out, you got a fiery approach, a fiery climax is approach, and this is full moon in Aries. So it's necessarily figuring out what it is that it needs to release. Like I tell everybody all the time, no matter how big an argument or how big a fallout necessarily is going on with you and a person, if you just listen to what somebody said, that shit could help you understand what the problem is. Even if you don't want to rekindle, they could be like the biggest blessing for you to be able to move on. So on that note, you guys, I am done. That is your mid-monthly reading. So I think I'm gonna label this as hustle real hard. No, I'm just call this division. I don't know. I think of something.